Oh my God. Whenever I'm doing stuff like this and I'm like troubleshooting technology, I think about my
It's live.
grandmother. Great. Welcome, everyone. Just quickly, just filling everybody in on the call here about my grandma Rita, who died in 2005. It's been a while. And I just think to myself, like, would she think this was awesome? Like the technology? Or would she be
Right.
like, you're a bunch of idiots?
A little bit of
No?
this, a little bit of that.
Did you guys ever do like family traditions, like like people send out like a Christmas letter with their Christmas cards, and it'll be like John got accepted into USC and he's brilliant, and Fluffy died after 16 wonderful years, like like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember the last year that my grandma was alive, again, this is like 2000, this would have been like 2004, I guess, the Christmas of 2004. And we wrote a Christmas letter in jest. Like we thought it was fun as a family to sit around and write a Christmas letter, but that was honest. Like was just like
Hmm.
honest about everybody and what was going on and whatever. And we were writing it, my cousin was writing it on her laptop, and my grandma was part of the experience, but she was really unhappy about the whole thing. And we were just like really hamming it up, like all the things we were going to say. And at some point you could tell she kind of got confused, like she didn't understand the laptop and the writing of the Christmas letter. Like she thought at some point we were going to send it to people, like it was just going to go out to all of her relatives and friends in Saskatchewan and the whole thing. And it was a real debacle. But that letter, that's the kind of Christmas letter I would like to get, not the real stuff, not the like fake stuff, you know?
I've thought about doing that, of being like the real talk resume,
Like
of like,
like real.
it's like I had 14 panic attacks this year. I
Yeah, because it
I
doesn't matter. Like if you post now, everybody posts that kind of stuff all the time. Like on
yeah.
Instagram Reels, I see people having meltdowns all the time, and I'm like, it's hard not to go like, oh, that's so hard. But then you're just like flip, like you just. But if you got it as a Christmas letter, like hard copy, analog in the mail, and you're like, oh my God, Sarah, like, wow, this is very honest. Like I don't know. I think it could be cool.
I'm I'm inspired. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna like this is inspired by Sarah Quinn. Oh, I see Vico Ortiz in the comments, and Vico, I don't know why Substack will not let me add you to this.
Yeah.
It's like the add person button is grayed out, and I can't even click it.
Sure. Maybe because you've already
Ugh,
added me.
what a hater. No, I don't think so. It said we could have a host and three co-hosts, so it like should be able to. And
Okay.
now I'm like, I'm gonna fight you, Substack.
Wait, can I? Can I add them?
Vico-phobic Substack. Totally.
Okay, well, first of all,
Like,
let's just how about follow? Now, can I add? Oh, I don't know if I can. You know what?
okay.
People, we're just figuring it all out. Every time we
Yeah.
figured
It's
something
a
out,
Yeah,
there's a new application. I don't, to be honest, I love Substack, but even just in the couple of years we've been doing Substack, it's now just like, I mean, and I don't say this with any sort of like negativity, like, but it's like adopting all of the sort of like, it's Twitter, it's Reels, it's all of the things
right.
mixed up into one big jumble.
Yeah,
And I've already started to take on the like, remember when it was just a newsletter and you just wrote it and then you just posted it and then a bunch of people got it in
yeah,
email, and now it's like you have to learn, like even when I just went to try to just like make a funny
yeah.
post on the like feed thing, I was like, which button is that? Like, I don't know what button it is. I
I
can't
feel like
wait.
I get humbled every time I open Substack. I'm
I just,
always like, a
I
note?
appreciate it. Like, I love that they're
What?
like, they're like expanding it and all of those things. But it's like, I just, okay, I had this idea once for an app. It was kind of around the time that Uber launched, and I was like, I loved Uber. Like right away,
hmm,
I did not have a driver's license when Uber started. It was a game changer for me. I loved it. And I had this idea. So I moved around right around the time that Uber started. Actually was moving to LA, and I was like, this is going to be perfect because I don't drive. But then it got my brain going. I was like, oh, I have another app idea. like as I started to get older and I had like moved into a house and there was like all this technical stuff that I was trying to figure out. And I was like, oh, I need an app where you can like find a young person in your neighborhood who can come over and help you learn a technology or plug your TV in or, whatever. And I would tell people this app idea, and they would look at me and they were like, like a find a teen." And I was like, "Yeah, exactly. Like, just tell me where all the teenagers are in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
and let them come over." And they were like, that is a very you can't have an app that locates all the underage people in your
The
neighborhood." And I was
minors.
like,
True.
and I was like, "Damn it!"
True.
So Geek Squad, I just had to hire Geek Squad to
It's
do
true
it.
though. I wish I'm like, what teenager will take out my garbage cans on Tuesday morning? Like, please.
Oh, well, that's like
You
straight
know?
up labor. Like you need, you need,
I'm like, I've
you
got
need,
cash.
you're like. Oh, people are distracted by my
Yeah.
background.
Yeah, what's going
Um,
on back there?
I'm sitting in this is all of the Tegan and Sara storage and archive behind me right here.
Oh shit.
Wait, is that
Yeah,
the thing
so
you wrote about the other day with the
yeah,
mice thing?
exactly. Yeah. So well, this is
Okay.
like this space is temporary. It's just gonna live here for a while I like organize all of it and sell it and like there's a bunch of stuff I'm getting rid of, but it's like everything from the Tegan and Sara archive is in here and all those are all guitars and all kinds of stuff that I'm gonna sell and auction and donate and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's a big project. I'm a little overwhelmed, honestly. If anyone wants to find
Wow.
me a teen to help, like,
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Um,
Another fun tech thing that's happening to me right now is that if I don't touch the screen every once in a while, it's like
it goes,
blacking out. It's like,
oh my God, so stressful for you.
I'm like, what is going on?
You're like the parent on duty, and I'm just like, just chilling.
No,
I don't feel
good.
stressed at all. Are
You
we
know
supposed to talk
what?
about, so we spent basically like we're like in a regular support group. We spent over an hour talking to each other yesterday
yeah.
for a
Yeah.
video that you're gonna put like well we're gonna put out
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hmm.
long form conversation,
Yes.
long emphasis on
We
long.
did. It was incredible. Like that is a good interview. And I just have to tell you, like, you're so easy to talk to.
Thank you. Thank
Like,
you.
I'm like it
You
as the
too.
person. Well, thank you, thank you. But like, well, like, hold on, let me tap my screen. Shit, everyone's disappearing. Yeah, no, I'm like the night before I had told you like I was like deep dive watching all these interviews, and I was like, oh my god, like this person is hilarious. What am I gonna do tomorrow? Like, so good, so easy to talk to, so smart, like really
Thank you.
perceptive, like.
I really appreciate that. I really do. I really do. Oh, I really enjoyed the conversation and I'm excited for people to see it. And I'm really honored to share my first live experience with you.
Hell
I
yeah.
haven't done a live experience on here yet, so that's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, as
Yeah.
you can see, it's very easy tech wise.
It's
Yeah, it's
super
super simple.
straightforward.
Yes. It's really impossible to make any mistakes.
Yeah, totally. So
Yeah,
good luck.
totally.
We were just on a call with our researcher for the show, and he does our research and he does like a lot of our scripting or like most of our scripting, and he told us the cutest story of how like Lauren, what did he say, Andres?
He
He said that.
said he had a queer friend, like when he was first coming out, he had a friend who's lesbian who was like a lot older than him and just like got him into Tegan and Sarah, and it was just
Hmm.
sort of a cornerstone in his figuring it all out,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
he's just a precious
Oh,
angel, so it made sense. It fit the bill of Andres and how he is, and so it was just sweet.
That's really cute. That's cool.
Yeah.
Who
yeah.
was that person
Well,
for, or who's that person or people or band or whatever, for you
There he is.
guys?
Wait, say that again?
hmm. Uh, like who is that person for us? Like, do
Yeah.
we have like a, I wrote something for our Substack a few weeks ago about someone had asked us our first memory of experiencing queer joy, and I talked about like listening to Katie Lang with my with my mom, like driving around on these country roads and like belting out constant craving. And he's probably, yeah, probably Katie Lang,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's cool.
Hmm.
That's really cool. I really liked Katie Lang, but she was such a like a staple in Canada, like in the time that I was growing up. Like, and
Mm,
I didn't really think of her like like I mean, there was an impact there, and I mean, I vaguely think that I knew that she was gay, all of those kinds of things. But for me, it really was like Ani DeFranco because
mm,
she was close enough to
Mm.
my age, and and she wasn't mainstream. Like it felt like a discovery. And like sometimes I think about like gay culture and how once you discover someone that's like like that everybody else knows, does it have the same impact as sort of like discovering somebody that feels like sort of more specific or niche to you or whatever? And there is something about like there wasn't that many gay people accepted in a mainstream way when I was a kid, so I can't really answer that question for myself because like there were gay people, Elton
Yeah.
John, Melissa Etheridge, whatever, but
hmm.
they seemed like of a different universe to me. They were so
Yeah.
famous, and I think like Ani DeFranco, I was like I feel like I've talked about this publicly a little bit, and I definitely talked about it in a interview with Ani one time. But I remember like the other thing that really shocked me when I found Ani DeFranco in high school, and she didn't sound anything like the music I was listening to. Like it was definitely also
Hmm.
one of those outlier situations where I was intrigued by what she sounded like. It wasn't the kind of music I generally listen to, but I heard like some of the first music I heard of hers was from her live album. And one of the things that really struck me, I was very familiar with live albums. I listened to like Springsteen live albums, U2 live albums. Like I was really familiar with the sound of an audience. And it took listening to Ani DeFranco's Living in Clip to realize I had never heard a female audience before. I'd always heard the sound, like the
Oh.
roar of like a large audience made up of men and women, but more like the
Hmm.
sound of almost like male voices. And I remember
Yeah.
listening to Living in Clip and being like, listening in headphones and being like, there are women in that. It's like that was very like provocative to me. I don't know, more than her own sexuality. It was provocative to me, the idea of like a huge group of women gathered together to watch this woman play music. And anyways, I just remember that being like very impactful, like so impactful.
You are gay for
I'm
sure.
very gay. Yeah. I'm gay. Listen, I was gay since it all started. Like I think I came
Yeah.
out gay. I don't feel like I was a gay baby. I think I was like a gay like it was about when I was like 3. I think
Mhm.
it's
Okay, gay
like two,
toddler.
2 or 3. Like
Gay
two
toddler.
or three.
Yeah.
I'm like I can start to see the stance and the sort of like vibe, and then by the time we cut our hair really short, like full gay. But like yeah, I wasn't a gay baby. I don't think babies are gay. I think that's
Yeah.
it takes a second.
Yeah,
I don't
totally.
know. I don't know. Maybe babies are gay. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I like the a gay toddler sounds really impressive.
Do you know? It's not. I don't think this is like very. We're living in such a tumultuous time, and like there's all these rollbacks on you know, um, like what I think has been progress around language and behavior and whatever. But there's also like slightly a little bit more freedom than I've had in recent years to just say stuff that I'm like, okay, talking about gay babies. That's a little bit, and then I'm like, I don't know, it's free for all now. Do whatever you want. You want to lie? You want to say crazy shit? Go for it. Um, but it's so funny because I constantly look at my son and I try not to apply like sexuality, gender stuff on
Hmm.
him because I'm like really like of that mindset of like, yeah, like just let him be free. And what happens if you just sort of like let it all get figured out? But it's like some stuff
Yeah.
is just baked in. Like this
Yeah.
kid, he loves blue. Why? I don't understand. He wants blue everything. Like he just
Okay.
likes blue. And he's living with 2 moms, and he's
Hmm.
got a wonderful nanny who's also gay, surrounded by gay women, and this guy is always like, "Are there going to be any boys there?"
Yeah.
I want it to be a boy. I want like he's just like so into boys, and not like in a gay way. Like in a like I
Right,
Yeah.
want to hang
right.
out. I want to like chill with boys.
Yeah. Camaraderie kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
way. That's funny. So Sid is 3.
He's almost 3.
almost 3.
Yeah.
Okay, have you like I don't know how it works with parent. Have you imagined like do you think about like what kind of teenager Sid will be or like
Yeah.
yeah.
I think about all of
Yeah.
it. I mean, in the very lighthearted ways I think about it. Like he's this morning, I mean, he's like a little mimic, right now. Like anything
Hmm.
I do or like I'm always making goofy faces or like overemphasizing things. And so now he's doing it. Like even just like that, like I'm always like, what did you say? You wanted what? And so now he talks like that. And he's always like, like this morning, like, what are you eating? And it's like frozen blueberries, like he's kind of theatrical.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so then I'm like, oh my God, I think he's gonna be like kind of like funny and he's got a great sense of humor and he's goofy and he loves to perform and he's always jamming. Like he's always like air guitaring and like pretending like he'll just be like doing some kind of instrument thing and I'll be like, what are you playing? Like this is all like pretend, but I'll be like, what are you playing? And he'll be like, I'm like, is that a trumpet? He'll be like, it's an oboe. Like, like and he's like
period.
funny and like
Yeah.
theatrical. The thing that's so interesting though is like when I'm in my more darker existential moods, what makes me sad is um like I'm always doing the math on like what's realistic to like if I live a good long life, how much of Sid's life will I get to be a part of? And then
Hmm.
always doing the math of like how much I won't get to be a part of. And that is like such a
Mm.
thing that I'm grappling with that I think is just so unique to parenting. Like I've always worried about like, oh God, I don't want anyone to die, but there's certain people you're just
Hmm.
like, well, they're older than me, or you're like with your
Right.
partner, romantic other, or whatever, you think like, oh God, I hope we die exactly at the same moment. Lightning strikes us
Right.
dead, or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
But with a child, inevitably you just think like, well, the whole purpose of this is to make sure that they can live without you because they're eventually going to live without you. And I don't mean like in a different house. I mean like
Right.
you're dead, and that's so
Hmm.
heavy to think about sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
the,
He's
I'm like, well,
hilarious. Did I mention how
well,
fun
I'm,
it is to be a
yeah.
parent?
Blue. Always with the blue.
I'm like, well, I'm depressed
Yeah,
now,
sorry.
Sarah. No, it's okay. I hadn't thought about that until like when there's a internet phase where we're all like using AI to make ourselves look old, which
Oh
I
my
didn't
God.
realize that was
Uh,
AI when I first started
yeah,
like
hell
being
yeah.
like,
Have to
yeah,
see
I'll
it.
I'll click all these buttons.
Gotta know.
Um, but I showed my mom and she was like, "Oh my God, I've always wondered what you will look like when you're old because I know I won't be alive for that." And I was like, "Oh God."
Oh,
I'm like, "Oh
that's
my God, that's
that's so
true."
sweet. God, that's sweet because all I thought when I saw that, I actually can pretty much mark that moment when that old person face filter was going around where it aged you,
Yeah,
quote unquote, like how you might actually look.
right.
I was like, I'm serious. Like from that moment till now, I have been in a state of midlife crisis because I was like, I used to
For
look at
him.
I can remember 10 years ago doing like the face app things where it would be like it would age me 10 years younger. Like it would be like it would guess your age and it was always guessing me younger.
Right.
And now when I do those, it's either my actual age or older. And I was like, fuck. And then I saw the old face one and I was like, I saw
Yeah.
all the shit. Like people are like, you'll be so lucky if you get to be that old and age naturally. And I'm like, but I'm just mostly just coming to terms with how busted my face looks when I'm
Right.
older.
I think
You
that's
know?
fair.
Like,
I think that's fair.
Jesus.
It's
Like,
definitely
horrible.
shocking.
It's shocking.
It's
Yeah.
shocking. I mean, I like how I look like I do not give a fuck. I'm telling these kids to stop horse playing. I'm probably smoking a Newport. Like, I don't know.
Well,
But
I'm going to tell you right now, if I look the way that I looked in that face aging app, I'm going to start smoking again because like
yeah.
at 70 or whatever. Like, like if,
Hmm.
I always think like if I get to the end of my days, like it'll be the time to start doing all the fun things that I liked when I was young and I didn't think
Yeah,
about it, you know?
I agree. I'm such an anxious person that I feel like if I hit 70, then I'm going to start doing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not, who knows? Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
I
true.
don't know. My great aunt who's about to be 95 on Monday. Um she she's very lucky genetically here. Like there's literally
Mm,
nothing about this like you can scrutinize her lifestyle the last 95 years, and there's like little things like she was one of those people for whatever reason it was an early adopter, and by early I mean like 50 years ago she got one of those like reformer like jump like the little mini trampolines for your house,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she used to jump on one of those, and she only cooked like using microwaves. Like she never lived with her long-term partner. 60 years they were together and they never lived together, which I think
Hmm.
honestly is
Hmm.
probably very healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anyways, all of which to say, like you can, I don't think the reason she lived to be 95 is necessarily anything more than luck and genetics. Like that's truly
Totally.
because like lots of really healthy people don't live long, healthy lives, and lots of
Right.
really unhealthy people just like will never die, So there's like,
Totally.
it's a mystery. It's a mystery. Anyway, all of which to say she's 95 and she started to have some bank back pain, and we were all of the relatives that are helping to support her and hang out with her and whatever. We're like, take an Advil, man. Just take a Tylenol. Have you get like, what do you?
Have you
Is it
ever?
bad?
Yeah.
Never. She never had taken anything. So she took like one Tylenol,
She
and
was
she
rolling her
was
face off.
well, no, she just was like, I can't do it. And then she actually literally referred to us, meaning like those of us who were encouraging her to take the Tylenol. She referred to us as drug addicts. She was like, "You're all a bunch of drug
Oh,
addicts with your Tylenol, and I'm not going to like mask this pain, whatever." And I was like, "God, who is this woman? Get
Ah,
her into a science
wow.
lab. Like, what the hell?"
Seriously.
that's
Anyway,
crazy.
It,
My
it's
grandma just
like,
turned, oh, sorry. You
no,
go.
please you. Please
yeah.
you.
I was gonna say that my grandma just turned 100 and
Wow.
she uh is almost like the opposite, is like kind of addicted to her Advil
Oh,
to the
well, she's a
point where
hundred. Don't rag on
exact,
her. She's a
that's what I'm
hundred years
saying. I'm
old.
like, let her do anything, but
Yeah.
they are trying to like hold her back, and so now they just give
No.
her Tic Tacs.
That is a crime against
As a
the elder.
crime, I'm like, you should give her anything she wants,
That is a crime against elderly
anything.
Yeah.
people. She should be able to take ketamine if she wants to. Like,
She should be
she's
able
a
to
Yeah.
do.
100 years old.
I
Let
know.
her do what
Totally.
she wants.
And they're like, maybe swap it with a Tic Tac.
I don't like it.
Shout
I
out
don't
to
like it.
Pat.
Damn.
You're being duped, Pat. You get
Let
out, get a
get
real
the ad.
Tylenol.
Get it.
Tic
Eight.
Tacs are
Take
good though.
4.
I like Tic Tacs.
Yeah,
Um,
serve a purpose.
anybody want to talk about anything else? Got big weekend plans or what's going on?
Um,
Well, I am
I think.
wondering if
Yeah, I
we
think
should, if I should
I'm gonna
let Vico
tap
hop
out.
in. I really want my co-host Vico Ortiz to be able to pop in on the convo.
Does that
Yeah,
mean you
yeah,
have to
yeah.
get
That's a,
out?
No, I'm gonna
I,
I'm
I,
gonna dip.
Oh,
You
I
dip.
think Lauren's gonna dip.
Yeah.
sweet. Great.
I'm
Good to
not
see you,
meant for
Lauren.
this on camera life.
There you go. Well,
Yeah,
you
right.
did it.
I did it. Okay. It was
All
lovely
right.
talking to everybody.
Okay.
Let me see if I
Bye.
can figure this out. All right. If I click the X on Lauren, remove participant. Oh, she's gone.
There she
Okay.
goes.
Now I can add. Oh man, I'm like feeling like a boomer.
No.
Okay, Vico, I've sent the invite.
We did it.
Vico.
Ha
Whoa.
ha! We made it. Oh,
Great
well,
participation in the chat, though. Great
listen,
participation.
Seriously.
I was like, I am paying attention. I am hee hee ha
You're
haing
on it.
over here. I
You're
almost
on
got
it.
kicked out of where I'm at. I was like, sir, I was inside. I'm outside because I'm doing this other thing. So, like, let me be. Hello.
Hello. Where are you?
I am in New York City. And it
Love it.
was very beautiful like 5 minutes ago. Like the sun was like on me and I was like a lizard. And then now this like massive cloud is haunting me and it could rain in any second. We'll find out very soon.
Well, live. Welcome to live, people. Could get rained on.
Indeed. 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 Indeed.
Uh,
I love the grandma conversation though. It's always so fascinating. I was like, yes, grandma is so funny. Into it. And just the mysteries of what happens when you're alive, like you know people that are so healthy that like have the most intense ways to leave this world, and then people that
Yeah.
you're like, how is this person still kicking it? Uh,
Seriously.
my
Seriously.
truly, my grandma would drink so like I still don't even know, but she lasted until like 90. She was like 96 when she passed. She passed a few months ago. And
Okay.
part of me also thinks that, like, because of the Alzheimer's, her brain was so on another level that she wasn't aware of, like, what her body was going through. Because she
Yeah.
was like, every time I would, like, go visit, I love to, this is gonna sound what's gonna sound like. I love to touch bodies. Like, just I
Okay.
love to kind of like be present with like people's bodies and my body and stuff. And I would just like chat with her and like hold her shoulders and stuff. And I'd be like, I would feel some like clicks and stuff. And I was like, is she doing like how's her body? And my mom was like, she's had some surgeries. Everything is a little bit all over the place, but she might be feeling it, but her brain is like somewhere else. So
Wow.
she probably lasted that long because she was completely unaware of all the stuff that was going on. I feel like sometimes when
Yeah.
you're so aware of like all your ailments, it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're hyperfixating on that and giving it more energy.
Sure.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I definitely am. I'm,
That
I'm
leads
like,
that's it's interesting about that because I was thinking this morning I was I didn't know this, but like I'm sure you've seen this on the feed, those people who go like pay like a ton of money and they get those body scans, that tell you everything that's
yeah,
wrong with you or whatever. And it's like I'm really traumatized by the fact that that exists because like I not that I'm planning on going and getting one, but like I feel like it's like one of those like fear unlocked things. Like I just thought we were
Mm.
all just
hmm,
walking around waiting for like to find out this kind of stuff. The fact that there's a test that you can go and just get, and then they'll tell you everything that's wrong with you, and potentially like I don't know why, but it like haunts me. And today I just discovered just before we were like on this call that there's one in Vancouver, and I just thought it was an American thing. So now I'm like, oh great, now there's one here, and I don't know why. Like it really bothers me, but talking about the
oh,
like knowing your body thing, it's like I try to be like I get a physical every year, like I get a mammogram every year. Like I try to be very vigilant about my health in what to me feels like a healthy way. But like the new level up is to like spend thousands of dollars to go get the scan. And I just am like, I don't know. Thoughts? If money was no
I
object, would you go get one?
I
honestly, I feel
probably
like
would.
yeah,
No.
I would do it too. I would do it too. I here's it's a fine balance because I'm also like I'm like it's not so bad, but I can see it spiking whenever like my capacity is like pretty low. But I used to be as a kid like major hypochondriac,
Me too. Me
um,
too.
which is why also like watching medical dramas out of the question.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like see something on an episode and I'm like I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna
Yes.
get it at some point.
Yes.
And like I'm like my throat feels a little itchy. What was that? And it's just I get myself worked up. But there's also power in knowledge and so it's like a fine line of like can can I do a scan of my whole body and not be like what was that you saw?
Okay, but this is the thing, right? Like, but then you think about the like the medical industry at large. It's like a financial black hole. Like they
Oh
just want to make more
yeah,
money, and it's like when you
Yeah.
these scans they reveal things that your body might sort itself out, and so it's like
that's
Hmm.
true.
if you find out all this stuff and then it's like you start having like interventions unnecessarily, like isn't that more stressful? And doesn't it just like especially in America where everything costs you money, like in Canada
Yeah.
you can't even go get one of these scans unless you get referred to from a doctor because like the
Interesting.
idea is that I have to assume that in Canada because we have universal health care, like everyone has basic health care in Canada, they don't want everybody going and getting scanned and being like, well, I need to do this and I need to do that because it's like it's not necessary, you know?
Mm.
That's where the balance would be because I agree with you.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we have stuff that our body naturally is like working towards, and like for me, it's more like a preventative care thing. Like, how is it looking
Yeah.
right now? What can I do that like can support this other thing better? I, for one, love like to know as much as possible like medical history to see also like oh what is something like my grandfather passed when he was like 62 I want to say and we actually it was a whole story. But he was in the Korean. war, but he wasn't a soldier per se. He was one of the people who was testing the bombs, unfortunately, and he was exposed to a
Oh
lot of
shit.
radiation. And one of the things that he said that happened to him, he in letters, that there and during some of the tests, he could see his own bones and his like fellow soldier bones, like when they were doing the radiation tests, and he hadn't had kids up until that point, so he had that radiation. He was exposed to that like 7 times, and then he came back to Puerto Rico, had kids, and so and he died of like a bunch of complications down the line. And so things that like it's good to know, like, oh, I have that, that might be my genetics. That's
Yeah.
there could be something in there. So what can
Mm-hmm.
I do now that can help? Because like what we were talking about earlier, anything can happen. You can have the healthiest lifestyle, and if that was the way you were gonna go, that's the way you're gonna go.
Yeah.
But if you can stick around for as long as you can and have a good
I think
time.
it was if I'm really, really optimistic about artificial intelligence. Like I am like I sort of have this feeling like either it's gonna like it's end of times, like it's just gonna escalate and it's gonna be over and it won't matter because everybody will be gone anyway. Or, the future seems promising. And if you can like hang on for like another 5 to 10 years, I think we're gonna see like dramatic changes to the healthcare system, and to our health and you know, like even just things like there's so much work that's being done in cancer around genetic like treatments that are like specific to your genes and like that kind of stuff. I get really excited when I think about how the advancements might save people's lives and like that we may eradicate certain diseases and certain ailments that that right now are so scary. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for
Yeah.
the body scan. I think I've decided I'm gonna wait. I'm not getting a body scan in my 40s.
But have you heard about the gay beam machine?
Yeah, let's do
The
it.
gay beam machine.
Yeah.
Apparently, there we reported on this a few weeks ago. This like conservative guy who was like talking about how the TSA body scan is the gay beam machine, and he
Turns
rather
you
get
gay.
a physical pat down because the gay beam machine turns you gay, but the physical pat down doesn't make you gay.
Oh
It's too
my
good.
God. Oh my God.
Ah,
Yeah.
I I for one, for AI when it comes to like medical stuff, I'm like curious. When it comes to art though, I'm like stay away, yo. Stay away
Yeah.
from
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not,
We
I mean,
don't yeah.
I'm interested to see. I mean, I'm always reluctant to like take a hard position in the early days because like obviously right now like everything it's sort of making is really shit. But on the other hand, I remember when we were Tegan and I were early adopters to, digital recording programs. Like, like we started recording
Mm.
on Pro Tools in like 2000. And, for all the generations of musicians and artists before us, like the idea that you would make anything digitally on like on a computer, it was like cheating, like they were like, not only does it sound like shit, but you're like using all these things. Like back in the day, you had to be good. You had to be a good bass player. You had to be a good guitar player. You had to be a good singer. You couldn't fix anything, And I mean, you
Oh.
could, but not like the way that you can now. And I remember being like, a bunch of grumpy old boomer assholes, like, like making music, whatever. But now I'm in that place where I'm like making music the way that I've always made music. And I'm like hearing stories of people, using AI to make music. And I'm like, I immediately feel like I'm in that position of going like, what? That's not fair. Like, why would you want to make music like that? But I don't know. Maybe that will just like be the future. I mean, it's like, it's so hard to say. Like, um, it's so hard to say. I just don't know because like in 2000, we were sort of like we were outliers, and now it's like that's just like the sort of baseline. Like everybody can make music. Everybody's
Mm.
kid has like Garage Band open and is making songs at like 5 years old or whatever, and it's just so normalized now. So I don't know, but
Definitely. Mhm. It's definitely going to
I'll
be interesting for sure. I'm reading a book
yeah.
about not about this specifically. It's a sci-fi. I have a book club, and this month's book is called "The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet" by Becky Chambers.
Okay.
And it's like way into the freaking future, and it's interesting to see conversations of like humans talking about AI and how there's like earthers who are very much like no AI period, like done.
Yeah.
And how so it's interesting to have like see these conversations but like envisioned into hundreds and thousands of years from now, just like how it's
Yeah.
developed and how AI has become like an aid. But yeah, no, it's so wild.
Sorry, Vico, your city sounds are so funny. I'm like, New York,
It's life.
baby.
It's life. It's New York. There's buses. There's people honking. Well, it's
It's
actually pretty calm.
yeah, it seems pretty calm. Do you
Yeah.
live in New York?
No.
Oh, okay.
I live in a suitcase.
Okay. Okay.
I live
Fair
in a
enough.
suitcase. I'm trying to be more stable, but as of right now, I feel like I'm like everywhere.
That's yeah, no, but I mean, stability can come anytime. Like, you don't have to,
True.
just enjoy this time.
I'm mostly between Puerto Rico and Los Angeles, and
Okay.
I've been a lot more in New York recently, and I'm here the rest of the weekend, and then I'm back in LA on Monday. But I'm looking to have like one place where I can be like, this is home, and then I travel, but
Yeah.
like this is the one, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope that for you, but I also am jealous too because I remember the time where I lived out of a suitcase and I was like, that was so fun. And now I'm like, what were we talking about at the beginning? Who's I need a teenager to take my garbage cans out. I feel so domestic.
I was gonna ask,
I
like, if Sarah, if you've had like, you just told us though, I'm like, what were your suitcase days like?
Well, I mean, just the years that we toured so much, like there was actually the first year I moved in with my girlfriend at the time, my now wife, we in New York. That year, I was gone 258 days.
Wow. Oh
And
shit.
like I always think about like how I mean, and we saw each other, like I was touring all the time, so she would come out and see me on tour, and we had some really fun trips and times together. But yeah, like 258 days, I was somewhere else, whether it's a hotel or a bus or um whatever, visiting people. And that was really normal for me. Like I just,
Hmm.
or like I'd be on tour. There was years, especially when I was single, I would be out on a tour and I wouldn't go home after the tour. I'd be like, oh, we're finishing in San Fran. So I'll stay in San Francisco, or I'll get a sublet in New York and spend a month in New York. So yeah, my 20s and early 30s were very nomadic. I just sort of like rolled with it. And now I'm like,
Mm.
I go away for like 2 nights and I'm like, I'm so homesick. I just want to go home. It's hard now.
I feel that. I'm in my early 30s right now, and I've the last like 5 6 years I've been like pretty like I mean I have like a place in LA, I have a place in Puerto Rico, but like I'm always like somewhere on a suitcase. And the
Yeah.
most recently, but then I have the reason why I'm in New York is because I'm doing a solo show, and it's my first time ever doing one, and it's one that I want to travel with. So I'm like, I think after I travel with the solo show, I think I'm ready to like, okay,
Put
settle,
down some
find a
roots. Yeah.
place, put a little something, chill, breathe, find a bit more ease into my daily routines, complain about when is trash day, when is recycling day, how are we composting our leftovers. That's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's those kinds of things. Like, I mean, I've definitely had that. It's not that I haven't had those experiences. I mean, I've had apartments since I was 18 years old, but um through the pandemic to now, I'm just like, the other day I was like thinking about like, did I ever think I was going to own a lawnmower? Like, then it was like suddenly I owned a lawnmower and I was like, I own a lawnmower. Like, what the hell? Like, there was a time in my life where
That's
I really did not think I would ever have a life that looked so traditional as it does now, you know?
Amazing.
a lawnmower is very grown up.
Yeah.
That's
It was great. I mean, I don't live that house anymore, so I don't have to have the lawn. I had a lawnmower, I had a weed whacker, I had a leaf blower. I think I gave it all to
same.
I think I gave all of it to Tegan because she then had bought a house that had a yard. So I was like, here you go, housewarming. Like, have all my crap. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just life changes. Life changes.
I
You
don't
accumulate a
I don't
bunch of
think I've
shit
ever
and
heard
then
of
you
a
gotta,
weed whacker.
yeah, I had a weed whacker. Is that what it's called?
I
It
don't know, but
is.
I love it.
A
I
weed
love it.
whacker.
That's
It
amazing.
is.
Maybe it's Canadian. I don't
No, Lauren has a weed whacker too. Lauren loves to weed whack.
know.
What?
Yeah.
It's just so good. The name is so funny. How does it look like? How do you whack weed?
It's like a pole, and then it has like a little circular blade, and you just go along the edges where the weeds are, or like the edge of your lawn. And yeah, I guess
Hmm.
I've never
That's
really thought that
amazing.
much about it. It just was like a staple in my suburban childhood, and then I moved to a suburban neighborhood during the pandemic, and I was like, I gotta get a leaf blower, a weed whacker, and a lawnmower.
Sounds like the weed whacker is an equivalent of a machete for
Yeah.
me. I was like, this sounds like it's
Yeah.
a machete.
You gotta Google it later. I feel like you gotta check out what a weed whacker looks like. You need to check it out. It'll be
I
familiar
do.
to
I
you, I
really.
think.
I'm gonna have to Google this. Give me 1 second. Oh, did I leave by accident?
No,
No.
you're
Okay.
no, you're
Okay.
here. You can Google it.
I am
You can Google it.
casually just weed whacking. It just sounds
It does
particular.
sound it does sound pretty crazy. You can also do a lot more than just weed whack, just for the record.
Oh, yeah. You can do more than weed whacking.
Yeah, you can
What else can
do
you do?
well, you can
What
trim the
else can you do
lawn.
with?
You can trim the lawn. You can if you say you have like a wild patch of mushrooms sprout overnight, you could take them down with the weed whacker.
True.
Noted. Noted. Noted.
Yep. There's a lot of
Yeah.
uses. Okay, well, I know
Versatile.
we're gonna I know we're gonna have to wrap up soon, so quickly, what's everybody's weekend plans? I'd like to know.
I'm. You go for it, Nate.
I don't have any weekend plans.
Like nothing?
I have like no, I have some work to do. We're like putting
Sounds
together
like
a sizzle reel for the podcast.
Ooh,
sounds
get it.
sounds
Okay, sizzle
nice.
reel.
Sounds like a
Hell
nice
yeah.
weekend.
Love
Okay.
that.
Yes. Yes.
Um, I'm performing all weekend. I have
Okay.
essentially a sold out show. I think the only time that there's some tickets left is like Saturday matinee. So I'm performing all weekend. I'm hanging out with the fam. I am doing a little bit of exploring of New York. I just went to the Museum of Sex.
Wow.
Fun stuff.
Nice.
I think tomorrow we're doing Central Park, a little stroll around there. Oh, we're doing Chelsea Flea Market tomorrow. That's what we're doing.
That's fun.
Um, and then Sunday in the evening, someone yesterday on the show, after the show, was like, "Hey, I have like a burlesque show coming up on Sunday in the evening, so I'm gonna go to that." And I was like, "All right, fuck yeah, I'll definitely check it out." So it'll
Okay.
be a
Uh,
live
Stacked
show
weekend.
weekend.
Stacked
Yeah. How
weekend.
about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I well, weekends now are kind of like all kid stuff. Like it's like what can we do with Sid
Yeah.
basically. So Um, I forget what our plans are tomorrow. On Sunday, we're going to a birthday party, and then we're going to the botanical garden for a spring concert.
Nice.
Okay.
Grown up.
All right,
It's really
botanical
grown up.
garden.
Lovely.
It's grown up.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Lovely.
Um, yeah, the weekends are nice, just like Saturday morning, I like to like go for a walk with Sid, get some coffee, sit on a patio. It's kind of like hanging out with a hipster, but like whose attention span is like um it's like his attention span for like conversation is all over the map, but he's like a good hang. Like he never wants to not hang with you.
Oh, oh my
You just have to be
god.
That's
willing to talk
precious.
about like you have to be willing to talk about like Paw Patrol, then you need to be able to talk about plants, then you need to be able to like sing
Hmm.
nonsensically, then you have to sing Twinkle Twinkle like 68 times, and then it's just
I mean, yeah,
running. It's like being with someone who's like kind of drunk and high a little bit.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah. That's it. That's
Sounds
Oh
like a
my
basically
good
it.
god.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Well,
Oh,
precious.
this has been such a pleasure, and we'll have to do it again sometime one of
yeah.
these
Hell yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Let's do it again.
Hopefully,
Thank you
I won't
so
have
much.
honking.
No, no, it was great. It really brought like it brought a nice soundscape to the whole thing. It
It's
was
a
great.
vibe. It's
Yeah,
a
Lovely.
it's a vibe.
vibe. All right. Well, thank you for everything, Sarah.
Hey, my
It's gonna be
pleasure.
a good
Thanks to both
time.
of you.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
Cheers,
Bye.
Bye,
yo.
y'all.
Bye.